What's good, everybody? My name is Blago, and I'm extremely happy to make this e-commerce course for you. I want to pretty much show you how I made my $7.5 million e-commerce brand from the ground up and how you can pretty much do the same. So I'm gonna walk you through on how to find winning products, how to make a branded store, how to make your creatives, how to run your ads, all that stuff, so that you don't have to waste a ton of time and money testing strategies that don't work from gurus that are pretty much not practitioners and don't know shit about e-commerce anymore. So you might have already watched some e-commerce content out there, and you know that one of the most important things is obviously finding a winning product, right? And there's people that say that winning products are everything, and there's others that are exactly on the opposite side, and they say winning marketing is everything and the product doesn't really matter that much. But what I'm gonna tell you is that both of those statements are pretty much bullshit because there's a balance to it. And winning products and success in e-commerce in general is all about selling stuff that people want in a way that people resonate with, okay? It's very simple, but it's not that easy to do, right? So that's pretty much two parts. The first part is selling stuff that people want. So making sure that you're selling products that people will actually buy, that actually want, that there's actual demand for. And these are not products that, you or your family or friends are just, thinking that they're cool because first of all, you personally are biased and you have your own interests and stuff like that. Especially in the beginning, you shouldn't just trust your intuition on whether a product is going to sell or not. You need a system for that, and you need cold hard data that a product is selling well, and also is selling well right now. And the second thing is you have to sell the products the right way. Like you might have a very good product that you chose, but you need the right creatives, the right copywriting, the right messaging, the right landing page structure, and the right offer to make it work. But from all the things that I mentioned, the most important thing, and that's something that I want to remind you throughout the whole course, is that the product itself and the creative, that means the advertisement that you're going to use for the product, are the two most important things that are going to determine like 90% of your success. All of the rest is just details. And in theory, if you have a product that is in crazy demand right now and there are not that many people selling it, and you also have a good creative that shows it the right way and just clicks with people and they resonate with it, you're gonna have a ton of sales with very good profitability, very good return on advertising. It's not that easy to find those hidden gems and to nail down your ad from the first try. So that's the point of this course. But I want to pretty much give an example with my store, because when I first tested my product, I didn't have the best store, I didn't have the best offer, I had none of those things optimized. But what I had was a very good product that was untapped on Facebook. There was only one competitor selling it right now, and they were doing decent numbers without doing anything crazy on the creative side of things. And I just had good creatives and very good momentum, and I had over 6 ROAS on the store in the first few months, and I scaled to more than $1 million in sales at like 4.5 average ROAS, which is, I mean, for the people that tried e-commerce before, is pretty much nuts, and the profit was pretty good on that. There's those two things, and what I want to show you is how winning products actually work. There's a life cycle for every product. When a new product is introduced to the market, if it's a winner, it's going to have a huge growth curve in the beginning, and over time the demand will decline. There are going to be way too many people selling it, and the product is going to get exhausted. Now, not every completely new product that is introduced to the market is going to work that well. And there's products that are, mass market winners that can scale to millions and millions per month. There are other products that are just not as scalable. There's not mass appeal in them, and it's quite hard to run them for the long run. The size of this thing for every product is going to be obviously different. And for some products, there's not going to be any demand at all. So that's something that you as a beginner want to avoid, because if you consistently try to force new products that haven't been tested in the market to work, there's a chance that your success rate with testing such products is going to be very low. The chances of you hitting that gold nugget is mainly determined on luck, and also you need to have a lot of money to test out all those products, right? And on the other side, if you're selling a product that is way too saturated and there's way too many competitors in the market, it's very hard to make it profitable. Here's like the tipping point. If you're selling a product that is already relatively saturated, but you have an insane amount of skills and also an insane amount of money to test it out and test different approaches, and polish the funnel and optimize the marketing to its max, then you can still make it work. But chances are, if you're watching this video and you're a beginner, you don't have the skill and you don't have the budget. So that's why your ideal situation is right here, is selling products that are already proven to sell but are not overly saturated. And it's quite hard to determine. I know it sounds very abstract, but I'm gonna show you in a few minutes how exactly to do this. You need to understand that as a beginner, you also have a competitive advantage against your competitors, and that's your flexibility, right? You can test a product. If it fails, you can move on to the next one. You can move on to the next one. And that's not something that a person who is currently scaling a winning product is able to do, because they need to have focus. So at any point of your business, you have a competitive advantage and you just have to use it to the maximum, because you're working with limited resources. You don't have a team to test a lot of products or to test a lot of creatives. You don't have that much spare budget to just spend money on products that don't have any potential. So you need to maximize all of the resources that you have and only test products that are selling well recently and are not that competitive. I'm gonna show you the exact criteria that I'm using for selecting new products, but you need to pretty much ensure that you stack the chips in your favor. And when it comes to winning products, there's pretty much just two types of winning products. I know there's YouTube videos with like very in-depth tutorials and all those nitty-gritty details and criteria that you can use. But essentially, the best products are first mass market products that have mass appeal and are solving either a big problem or they are satisfying a very big passion. For problem solving products, those are pretty much shortcut products. So the best example for that is a weight loss pill, right? And you see how people are still buying those things even though they don't work, just because the product is so appealing and just because they're solving a problem that usually takes months to solve within, a few weeks or something. So those types of shortcut products have an insane amount of value in the customer's eyes, and that can be either reducing pain, it can be saving money, and it also can be something that improves your health or improves your looks and improves your relationships. So the biggest pain niches are health, wealth, and relationships. You already know that. The bigger problem and the faster the product solves the problem, the higher the perceived value in your customer's eyes will be. Now, for passion products, that's not exactly the way you should think about it. It's more so, how cool is this product and can it appeal to a huge amount of people? For example, I was not selling a problem-solving product, and that's like one thing that is preached in the e-commerce space, that you should definitely sell a problem-solving product. My product was not problem-solving at all. I just had a huge fan base that was absolutely loving, the niche that I was selling in. And when they saw how cool our product was, they were like, I need to have that. And if your product is creating this emotion, I need to have this because it's absolutely cool, then it can be a winning product. But let's be honest, like a lot of the passion products just are not that appealing, right? You also need to have different skill set when selling those different types of products. For example, for problem solving products, the biggest skill you need to have is very good direct response copywriting. So the copy that you write and the words that you use in your creatives, in your scripts, in your ad copy, in your landing page, pretty much everything is much more important. Whereas with passion products, it's more so about the visual. So knowing how to shoot content for the product, knowing how to show emotion when using the product, if that makes sense, because you're selling the emotion. With problem solving products, you're relieving pain. With passion products, you're creating emotion. So that's pretty much all you need to know about winning products. Now, the second question is, how do you find those products and what are the criteria to pick those products? For a beginner, you need to only sell products that are selling well currently and they have content available already for the product. Why is that? Because first of all, we already explained this, you need to be in this sweet spot where you see that a product is already selling well. So somebody else did the hard job of filtering through tens of bad products just to find a good product that works. And the second part is having content available. If you're more advanced and you can shoot your own content, that's absolutely fine. But if you're a beginner, first, most probably you don't know how to shoot content at all. And even if you order the product in and you make some creatives for it and like you shoot some videos, you're still gonna be shit. So what you need to do is just source creators from the internet and source content available from the internet. And the more videos that are available for the product already, the more you can experiment with like different creative concepts, different videos, different hooks, and all that stuff is going to make it much easier for you to determine whether the product is going to work out for yourself or not. There's three methods that I'm going to present to you in a second, but those initial criteria are pretty much going to determine whether you can sell the product at all or whether there's just potential for you to make it work in general. And then the secondary criteria is going to determine how far you can scale it. And you shouldn't really worry about the secondary criteria that much because those criteria are actually subjective. You need to just ensure that if something has potential to work out, you also have potential to make it big. Because one of the biggest mistakes you can make is just sell some trendy bullshit gadgets that, yes, for sure they're selling well right now, and yes, there's some content available for them, but they don't have any intrinsic value. And it's hard for me to explain that in a video, but a product with intrinsic value can be branded and can be differentiated and positioned away from the competition. For example, BlendJet is a very, very strong brand. This thing right here. They pretty much started off as a complete dropshipping product. They had like the basic Chinese design that, they're still produced in China, but the mainstream design. But since they were using very good ads and they had influencer collabs and stuff like that, even though it's the same product as the generic blender, people were still buying from this. And you can see they upgraded the product, they made it custom and stuff like that. They started off as a dropshipping product, and the product itself has the intrinsic value to be branded and to be improved over time. And the other example that I want to show is this brand right here. This is like a crystal hair eraser, and it's one of the hottest dropshipping products for a while. And even though there's a ton of competitors trying to steal their content and steal their stuff, just because the product itself has intrinsic value and it's not just a stupid gadget like a kitchen lid or something, they can have this branding leverage and they can exist for the long run. So that's what I'm gonna teach right now. It's not just about finding winning trendy stuff that you can sell for a few months and it's gonna die off. More so about how to set the fundamentals for a proper brand, but also make sure that you're making some good money in the process of figuring it out. Because on the other side of the spectrum, we have the people who invest a shit ton of money in inventory, custom branding, and all those things just to find out that a product is not going to sell well. So I want you to avoid both like extreme scenarios and have a hybrid version of a store that gets profitable relatively quickly, but also has the long-term potential of a real brand, which is exactly the process that I went through. As I mentioned, we have the secondary criteria, which is how saturated the product is. We have the margins, so how much we can mark up the product. As I said, this is subjective, and whether there's long-term potential for it. And I prepared a product research tool, first because it's an unnecessary expense, but most importantly, I want you to develop the skill of finding a good product and spotting a good product, because those dropshipping product platforms, you're pretty much relying on research that somebody else did, and you're not really building the skill of proper product research. Whereas if you're looking at the Facebook feed and the ad library and TikTok, you pretty much have to sift through a lot of products and train your eye on what's good and what's bad. So let's now dive deep into the different methods. The first one is the Facebook feed method.